एडमिट एडमिट करना है।
वीडियो चल रहा है क्या? अरे ये आ गई क्या?
हाँ, नैन्थन में तो तेरे से वेट कर रहे हैं।
हेलो। हेलो।
या हेलो हेलो मैम।
हाँ सर, आवाज आ रही है?
यस, गुड आफ्टरनून।
गुड आफ्टरनून सर, कैसे हैं आप?
बहुत अच्छा, बहुत अच्छा। बस
ओके। सर मैं क्या सोच रही थी ना, अच्छा सर क्या करूं मैं?
एक मिनट, एक मिनट, काफी लोग हैं तो अब अभी एक काम करो, अभी जस्ट वेट करते हैं मैम। एक मिनट, एक मिनट।
सर मैं पूछ रही थी ना कि मैं कंप्यूटर से
एक
बात
मिनट,
करूं?
एक मिनट मैम, एक मिनट, आप कॉल कीजिए।
ओके। मेरा
Jessica.
Good evening, all participants. Welcome to the webinar on fashion forecast and impact on fashion after pandemic. Before starting with, I would like to tell all participants to attend the webinar till the end in order to receive e-certificate after assessment. I repeat, I request all participants to attend the webinar till the end in order to receive e-certificate after assessment. We have with us our trainer of today's session, Ms. Nayantara Singh, graduated from NIFT Gandhinagar. After completing her education, she did internship from House of Pearl, Gurugram, Haryana, and started her career as an executive designer at the world's famous kids brand Barbie and the Shirt Company, Mumbai. Also, she worked in the same profile in MAM Arts, an export house in Jaipur. Currently, she is an assistant professor at NIFT in fashion design department. She was also a former academic head at UCA Tarsaria University, Badoli, and worked with IIT Surat as a senior fashion faculty. We welcome you, Nayantara ji. I request you to kindly start with the session. Thank you. Nayantara Singh. Nayantara ma'am. Ma'am, you can start your webinar, your session now.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am, you can start your session, please.
Okay. Hello. Am I audible to you?
Yes, yes.
Is it proper? Hello.
Hello, ma'am. Please start your session, please.
First of all, I would like to thank IDT for giving me this opportunity to present myself, to present my views in front of you all. Secondly, I would like to thank you all for taking time and listening to this webinar. Then I would like to request you all to kindly mute yourself and stay muted for next 45 minutes. Once I will complete my PPT, then we will take your questions and I will try my best to answer your questions. So thank you once again, and let's move ahead. For today, we have the topic fashion forecasting and world after COVID. So it's very important to know what fashion is before talking about forecasting, right? So I have a very famous quote which I have taken over here, and this quote is from Michael Kors. He's a very famous designer. You might have heard his name. His brand is also there. We have watches and everything of his brand. So this quote is, as it is said, fashion used to come from one source at a time, be it the street, the runways, or the entertainment business. The interesting thing about today is that influences come from high and low everything, from couture to Target. So this is I would like to start the PPT with this very famous quote. Then I would like to first define fashion, what fashion is. Because, if you're talking about forecasting, if you're talking about, fashion, then it's very important to know what actually fashion is. Fashion is much more than clothing. It's not only about clothes. It's not only about, what you see in the market. It's much more than that. And it begins much before what we see in the market. So fashion is, first of all, is a style that is popular in the present. Hello? Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yes, you all can
Yes,
hear
ma'am,
me.
you are audible.
Okay, so okay, thank you. First, then I would like to continue. As I said, fashion is a style that is very popular in the present, right? So fashion is actually a style. It's not something. First of all, it's very important to understand what is style and what is, how a particular thing becomes a fashion. So one thing can only become fashion if it's popular at a time and it is accepted by a lot of people at a time. So it is a set of trends that have been accepted by a wide audience. It's not about one person. It's not about two person. It's not about one community or two community. It's about, it's a very universal thing. It's a very global thing. Then again, moving ahead, it is a very complex phenomenon. Actually, it's a very complex phenomenon, because when we talk about fashion, as I said, it's not only about clothing. It's about the psychology of the people. It's about the sociology of the people. It's about the culture we are associated with. It's about the commercial point. Now I would explain you what is psychological part. Like if we talk about clothing, अगर आपको कहीं जाना होता है, I would like to mix both the languages so that अगर किसी को हिंदी समझ में आती है, then he can also connect, and अगर किसी को English समझ में आती है, then that person can also connect with me. If I'm talking about psychological part of a fashion, then it's like, जब आपको कहीं तैयार होकर के किसी पार्टी में जाना है, तो आप we spend a lot of time before getting ready for a party. अगर आपको सपोज बर्थडे पार्टी में जाना है तो आप कैसे ड्रेस पहन रहे हो, अगर आपको मम्मी के बर्थडे की पार्टी में जाना है तो आप कैसे ड्रेस पहनोगे, अगर आपको फ्रेंड के बर्थडे पार्टी में जाना है तो आप कितना स्किन एक्सपोज करना चाहते हो, अगर आप किसी शादी में जा रहे हो तो फ्रेंड की शादी में जा रहे हो या फिर आप फैमिली फंक्शन में जा रहे हो, accordingly we decide our dress, right? So okay, I would try to be as much as possible to be in English. Okay, so if we are talking about psychological part, if we are going, for a party, we give half an hour, at least half an hour to decide what kind of clothes I want to wear. So what is this? This is because of the psychological part. We are talking about psychological part. We think a lot about, before getting dressed up, what I want to wear, how to, gel, whether it will gel with the, the kind of function I'm going to attend, whether my shoes are going with my cloth or not, whether my accessories are going with my cloth or not, whether my hairstyle is going with my cloth or not. So fashion is not only limited to the fabric. It's not only limited to the clothes. It's much more than that. It's about the psychology of a person. It's about the mood you are in. It happens if you are very happy, then you want to dress very happily. You would like to wear a very colorful dress or, a very cheerful dress. But again, if you are not happy any day, if you are very sad or something, then you prefer wearing dull clothes and all. So these are the things. Again, if you are talking about sociological aspect of fashion, then obviously we conform to the society. We all want to conform. We want conformation, and this is where the fashion comes. Because if we don't want conformity, there won't be a fashion. Whatever is going inside the society, we want to wear the same thing because we don't want to miss out. There is, a very famous thing these days which is happening. It's called FOMO, fear of missing out, which is very popular in today's kids. So what is that? That is sociological aspect of the fashion. Then if we talk about cultural aspect of fashion, then what is cultural? If we are going for any kind of cultural event, then we want to wear like that. Suppose if I am going for suppose if I'm going for a Garba party, suppose, or a Garba dance, I would like to wear something, like Chanya Choli, and, people from Gujarat, they can connect with it. Secondly, if you want to go for, if there is any party in your family and you want to go there, and then you would like to wear something which is, very traditional, which goes with your society, which goes with your culture. So that's about, then that's the cultural part of the fashion. Then fashion is obviously commercial, because sometimes you want to show your status through your the kind of clothes you're wearing, and from there we can see this fashion you would say in the offices as well. People dress according to their status, the kind of place they are holding in that organization. So fashion is much more than clothes. It's very important. Now, since we talked about style, what is style? How is style different from fashion? See, a style is a very individual thing. How you carry one thing which is there in fashion, how you make it, very individual. How you show yourself through that fashionable thing. Suppose I would give you an example. As you can see in the image over here, if it's visible to you all, like there is only one shirt, and we have 5 different individuals over here. Okay, and the way each and every one has paired the one white shirt is different, right? So this is showing an individual style of carrying one thing. If suppose one white shirt is in fashion, then different individual carries it in a different way, and that shows their style. So this is how style is different from fashion. Again, if you can see this PPT, then you would see that, there is a very famous singer, Lady Gaga. We all know her. Then we have Harry Styles. Then you can see they both are wearing one same, yellow colored jacket, but the way they have paired it, the way they have styled it is very different. Lady Gaga, she has styled it with a very red lipstick, and then very glossy, and then very, a bright makeup, or that glossy eyeliner also you can see. Then again with the hat, but at the same time you would see this Harry Styles, he has paired it with a bow, and then a brooch on the left shoulder. So this is how style is different from fashion. Fashion is something which is very global, but style is something which is very individual. It's not global. Now moving ahead, this is a very famous saying by Sabyasachi Mukherjee about the style. I think style is about a woman who is 5 feet 1 inch and wears flat to a party. Style is about confidence. Obviously, it's about your confidence, how well you are in your skin, how well you represent yourself in front of everyone. So this is what fashion is. Now again, moving ahead, if I talk about clothing, where it has come from, why we need cloth, and what are the different hierarchy of needs. So here we have Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is very important, which is very, I thought it's very important to discuss it over here right now. Because if you don't know all the tips and bits of the fashion, you won't be able to understand forecasting, because this is the root thing. If whatever you sow, you reap, right? So this is what the thing is. So that's why I thought I should explain you each and everything, whatever I could cover up in this 45 minutes. So this hierarchy of needs is there. Like, we all know that, हमें सबसे पहले there is need, then we have want, then we have desire, right? So first step is your physiological need, which is your, the need to cover yourself. Obviously, this is the very basic need of ourselves, or of us, where we want to cover ourselves. So that is your first step. That is your physiological need. Then we move ahead. We go to the safety need. What is safety need? Where you want to feel safe when you are wearing a kind of fabric. Like you can see, is the best example is like, firemen, the kind of garment they are wearing. That is to protect them from the environment. Then again, you can see the workmen, the construction men, the kind of, you know, jumpsuit which they wear. So that suits well to their profession. So that is the safety need. Here the safety need is fulfilled. Then we move ahead, then we go for the social need, where, you know, we want to wear something like, you know, to conform to, for the conformity of the society. Like my friend is wearing a kind of shoes and I want to wear the same kind of shoes. So that is what? That is the social need we are fulfilling. Then moving ahead, we have, you know, the next step is that when our physiological need is fulfilled, then when our safety need is fulfilled, then we move ahead for our social need. And then again, we move ahead and then our esteem comes, our self-esteem comes. And what is self-esteem? Like, you know, I feel great wearing this outfit. You know, here comes your, you know, very individual thing. Okay, I want to wear this type because that suits my personality well. So that is your self-esteem. And this is how self-esteem is also associated with your clothing and with your fashion as well. Then again, the last step is your self-actualization, where, you know, all your needs and your wants are fulfilled, and now you think of your desire. And what is your desire? You want to wear a particular kind of brand. Like suppose here we have an example of Versace, or there is an example of Louis Vuitton. You know, I want to wear a garment which is from a particular brand, and that shows my individuality and that shows my you know, status. So what is that? That is not your need. You don't need that thing, but that is your desire, and that is the last step of your of this need hierarchy of needs. So moving ahead, there are 7 statements of fashion. Fashion as a social and psychological response. Obviously, we will talk all these things in, you know, detail further. Fashion as a popular culture, fashion as change, fashion as a universal phenomenon, and then fashion as a transfer of meaning, and then fashion as an economical stimulus, fashion and gender differences. Moving ahead, so let's talk about this first statement, fashion as a social and psychological response. So clothing simultaneously conceals and reveals the body and self, right? So obviously, when we talk about society, when we are talking about psychological response, then obviously, you know, clothing can reveal your body, that clothing can even conceal your body. So where you want to reveal your body and where you want to conceal your body, that is the psychological part. And again, that there also this social thing comes, whether your society is permitting you to reveal your body or it's not permitting you to reveal your body. Your society is permitting you to, you know, to adopt a particular kind of logo, or it's not adopted, it's not, you know, allowing you to. So this is what the thing is when we talk about social and psychological response. Obviously, the buying of cloth is cognitively challenging, you know, like dollar versus value, whether, you know, you want to buy something because it has value to it, or whether you want to buy something because it's very expensive and it's, you know, and you want to buy because of its price tag or something. And obviously, it's about the emotionally arousing or not. You know, if you are whether a particular, suppose I would give you an example. Suppose if you like yellow color garment, right, or you like yellow color. So when you go inside a mall, when you go inside a shop, the first garment which will attract you will be of red, yellow color. Because why? Because that yellow color is associated with you somewhere. Because you like yellow color, that's why you will feel a kind of affinity towards that yellow colored garment. So this is how that, you know, that thing comes, that is obviously. Then if we talk about, you know, if we are talking about social aspect of, you know, any fashion, and then if we are talking about, you know, psychological aspect, then obviously, you know, there are some kind of, you know, slogans are written sometimes on the garment, and we buy those t-shirts because we like those slogans. And why is that? Because somewhere we feel connected with that kind of thing. So that's the thing. Now, again, if you would see here, this mask thing is again, because why are we all wearing masks? Maybe because that is the need. And then secondly, now what we are doing, we are looking for different types of masks. You know, there's a mask with some handwork done on it, some mask with, you know, we want to have masks with some kind of embroideries done on it. So these are some of the things which we are looking for, and that is, you know, a kind of social conformity. Then again, fashion as a popular culture, obviously, fashion is, you know, if something is very popular in a culture, then that becomes a fashion, obviously, because of, you know, now if I would like to explain you all, it is sometimes trivial and transient, obviously, it moves. Then again, operating within the domain of popular culture, obviously, something which is very popular, you know, a culture, if you go inside a culture, if you would see there is something, some kind of fashion which is there inside that culture, which is very, which is very, very authentic, which is very much of that culture. So they don't want to leave anything. They want to stick to that. So that is the fashion for them. That is what we need to understand. We can't impose something. We can't, suddenly bring something and give it to them and they would accept it. We need to understand the culture as well if we are talking about the fashion culture of that particular region for which we are designing something. So this invites skepticism, and then because it sometimes seems frivolous or extreme. See, it's not necessary, it's not important that fashion will always be very extreme. It can sometimes be extreme, but sometimes it cannot be extreme. Sometimes there can be repetition of a past fashion. So obviously it can either be frivolous or it can be extreme. Now we can see, I would like to show this example to you all. This 1970s hippie culture is there, where, this was a time, I would like to explain, if I have time, about this thing. See, if you are talking about fashion, if you're talking about, if you want to talk about future, then it's very important to know the past as well. So if I talk about 1970s, there was a time when all these, kids, they were very rebellious at that time. They started growing their hair long, and then they started wearing all the loose garments. And this was happening first time in the history that, these men, they were having very long hair and they were not bothered about the hygiene and all. Yeah, men used to have long hair back in the past. But this time they were having their original hair very long and they were not bothered about the hygiene part. They were not going for the, they were in a mood where they did not wanted to go to office in the office wear. They were like, what is the need of wearing office wear in the office? And which was very shocking for for their parents of that time, who belonged to 1900s or 1910. They were like very, elegant kind of people. So that was very extreme fashion of that time. Now, obviously, fashion has a change that, okay, guys, if you all are writing on screen, then that is going to, hinder you all only. You won't be able to see the slides properly. So I would request whoever has written it on the screen, kindly erase it or delete it, so that others don't face any problem. Yeah, so moving ahead, if we are talking about fashion as a change, then obviously fashion, it captures the charms of novelty. And then, a fashion is a response to whatever is happening in the society, response to the mentality of the people, response to whatever change is happening in the society. Like if I give you an example, a big current example, if I give you, this COVID thing has come, right? This COVID has changed our mentality, right? Earlier, have we ever thought that we will be wearing masks in the public places? We never thought. But now we all are wearing it, and then this mask thing has become a very big fashion nowadays. So fashion is also about change, and it's obviously about change. Fashion is never the same. Whenever we have this classic things come back to fashion, it will never come back in the same way. It will come back with a new essence to it. It will come back with a new fragrance in it. It will come back with a new style in it, a new combination in it. So this is how fashion is different always. Now moving ahead, this is I would like you all to go through it. This is 1920s. You can see how style line is different, how waistline is different, how color picking the kind of color which they have thought of is changing now. So in 1920s, you would see the waistline is there perfectly at the waist. In 1921, the waistline is shifting down. In 1922, again it has shifted down. 1923, there is no waistline. You can see there is a a kind of boxy fit which is there. In 1924, it's a little low waist kind of waistline. In 1925, again low waist. In 1926, no waistline. 1927, ultra low waist. 1928, again low waist. And 1929, there is a kind of a lavishness which is there in the fashion. Now, this I was talking only about the 1920s. From 1920 to 1930, there was a kind of transition which was there, right? So now moving ahead, you can see how fashion has changed in the 20th century, because it's very important to know how it has changed. In early 19th century or late 19th century or in early 20th century, fashion was entirely different. We can't even imagine ourselves that we are wearing those kinds of garments. You can see in 1900, this lady, she's wearing a big hat and she has a very big bustle at the back, and then you can see a very, a back which is very full. And the waist, it is very narrowed down. It is very, a very curvaceous body is there. But up aage dekho, as you move forward, the fashion is changing. In 1920s, you would see first time women, they started wearing short garments. Never before 1920s, women used to show their legs. And this is the first time when women started showing their legs. And why it happened? Why fashion was something like this in 1900 and it changed to be, a very different in 1910 and 1920s? What was the reason? It's very important to know, and why this change came. I would like to explain you all. This was because, in 1900, like we, these women, they were, we had this, Edwardian era at this time, or we had this, late Victorian era and then Edwardian era. So, there was a kind of culture where women were supposed to be like a very ladylike, and men were supposed to be like, they used to wear very mannish garment. But what happened in 1900 or in late 1900s and in early 1910s, this motor car came into existence. This invention of motor car came into, existence. So what happened? This lady, imagine yourself wearing such kind of garment and sitting in a car. Can you sit in the car? No, it's not feasible, right? It's not practical. So that's why, the fashion changed. So fashion changes as per the new inventions which are happening in the society. This newness can be because of anything. Aapki agar koi technological changes are coming, whether, any political changes are coming. So fashion is a very big thing. It's not very small thing which we all think of. So here I would like to show you all a video, which I think is very important for those I hope the voice is audible to you. Video will show you like how fashion is changing throughout the years.
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am. Nayantara ji. Yes, ma'am. Can you please speak something? Ma'am, you're not audible.
वो pink है.
Your voice is not coming, ma'am. Participants, we are very sorry. Just it's a 2 minutes interruption. We are going to fix it very soon. No, ma'am, is still not audible.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am, now you're audible.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
You are on.
Yes, ma'am.
like to
Yes.
Okay, so as we saw in the video just now, like you might have seen like how fashion has changed in 1940s. You might have seen like 1940s was the time when we had this Second World War. It started. Sorry. Kindly mute yourself, guys, please. I request you all to kindly mute yourself. We have very less time left right now. We have only 10 to 15 minutes left. Okay, so I was saying that fashion has changed. Fashion changes a lot, and anything which is happening in the society, or anything which is happening in the culture will impact fashion. As you can see in 1940s, because of the war and everything, we had very limited resources, because of which, the fashion changed. And you would see there was a very restricted kind of fashion was there at that time. Hemline became very shorter. And then, these garments, they were rationed at that time. Women, they were not allowed to have, this, hemline more than a certain level, which was fixed by the government at that time. So when we talk about fashion, everything around us impacts fashion, and fashion impacts everything around us. So both the things are equally right. Obviously, fashion is a very universal phenomenon. If something is happening at one place, it will obviously impact fashion at the other place as well. Fashion is trade in materials, ideas, and artisan. Obviously, when we talk about fashion, how is fashion different from art? We say fashion is a kind of wearable art, an art which can be worn. So, obviously, fashion is a very universal phenomenon. I would like to give an example. As you can see over here, there was a time earlier, we all have seen when, models, they were expected to have a very short waist. They were expected to have a very, a particular kind of body structure. But nowadays, this thing has become very universal. We all are, very fine with the plus size. Plus size has become a fashion statement these days. So this is how fashion is changing, and when it changes, it becomes very global thing. Obviously, fashion has a transfer of meaning. We transfer meaning through fashion. the slogans which are written on the T-shirt that says what I want to convey to the people around me. One buys the consumer good and construct one's world. Obviously, when I buy something, I can only buy something if I feel associated with that thing. And that psyche needs to be understood by each and every one of us who are, designing for our customer. Because we are not designing for ourselves, we are designing for the customers. We are designing for the buyers who want to buy it. If you don't understand that person's psyche, if you don't understand that person, what that person wants, it's useless to do. It's useless to create something. So obviously, as you can see, there was a time, this thing was very famous, Sri Shakti, F for feminism. So, whoever was printing this thing on their T-shirt, it was selling like hell at that time. In 2017, red carpet is my comfort zone, and she's very comfortable in wearing such kind of T-shirt because that is saying what she wants to convey. She's very comfortable on red carpet. Then again, in 2018, you can see the future is female. So, in 2018, everyone was talking about feminism, so that came into fashion. And how a feminism thing can come in fashion, it can come through slogans, it can come through different, ways of, it can come through face painting. There are different ways of expressing what you want to express to the society. Then again, the next point is fashion as an economical stimulus. Fashion is an obviously economic entity. You want to say what is your economical status, and then you want to, something which is, planned excellence powers the economic engines of fashion. Obviously, something, something which is depleting in the market, something which is very limited in the market, we all want to have it. This is the psyche of the fashion. This is the psyche of the buying behavior of the people. So this is very important to know at the same time. These brands like Zara, and there are so many brands, they are saying like, we will be there for 1 week, and after that, if you are not buying it, we will change everything over here. So you need to understand, something which is not there, something which is there for very limited time, we want to have that thing. This is, this is the fear of missing out. Actually, there is a pleasure associated with new looks and new clothes. Obviously, we want new clothes. Why? Because we feel good when we have new cloth. We feel refreshed when we have a new cloth. So obviously, this is also very important to know. Now, when we are talking about fashion, it's also important to know, fashion is according to your economical status. Fashion is about to your, the kind of profession you are associated with. So this is also depicts about fashion. Then again, as I was saying, ki agar aap jaoge kahin, if you go to a particular store, you would see, there will always be one section where a lot of crowd is there. Why? Because, as soon as you will enter the market, you would feel like, okay, why everybody is going that place? I would like to go and see what is there. And even if you don't find anything, still you would feel like, okay, everybody is buying. That means there is something at this place, and I should buy it. So again, fashion and gender difference. Again, I would like to cut it very short and explain you. There was a time in 1900 and 1910 when, women, they were expected to be very ladylike, and the men, they were expected to be very, managed, to wear very managed garments. But nowadays, this unisexual thing has come, right? That difference is minimizing, or, it's dissolving, I would say. Men and women, we are comfortable in wearing same kind of garments. So this is the psyche of the people right now, and we need to understand it, and we need to appreciate it. As you can see on the red carpet also, same red jacket, and this red suit is worn by a lady also, and same thing is worn by a boy also. So that difference which was there, that is very much going nowadays. Again, now moving ahead, now we have learned enough about fashion. Now let's talk about forecasting. Because we are forecasting, we are talking about fashion forecasting. So it was very important to know what was fashion, what is fashion, and what fashion can be. How a single change in fashion will impact the future fashion. So if we are talking about forecasting should be, the source from where it is coming from. Forecasting is about fashion, so we must know what are the sources from where this fashion is coming from, whether it is coming from the higher end or it is coming from the lower end. What are the underlying patterns? What are the different things which we need to, make a link between? What are the direction of fashion? From where it is coming from? It is coming from, from your friends, or it is coming from the celebrities, or it is coming from the worker class. Where the fashion is coming from? What is the direction of fashion? Then speed of transition. Obviously, for how much time this fashion will stay in future? Whether it is a fad or it is a classic. What is fad and classic, we will, see it further. Now, when we are talking about forecasting attempts to project past trend into the future. Now, what happens when we are talking about forecasting? Sometimes it happens that, forecasting tries to, find link in your past. How present fashion is linked with your past fashion. Is there any connection with the past fashion? Because if there is any connection, there are chances, like suppose if I'm wearing something, something is in fashion right now, and if it is associated with 1920s fashion, then I would like to find other links from 1920s, and this is how I can forecast further. Now, anticipate future development by watching for signals of change in current situation. Like as we can see, like, this COVID thing has come, and something in the society has happened which has changed the entire mindset of people, which has changed the entire, forecasting thing. This has changed the entire fashion industry. So something in the, something which is happening in the present will create a kind of signal for the future fashion. Now, as you can see, obviously, fashion tries to project the past fashion. As you can see, this image is from, this Bobby movie. Dimple Kapadia, she's wearing a polka dot, and we can see, a polka dot. It keeps coming back, right? You can see this Sara Ali Khan and other heroines. They are also wearing polka dot. So it's not only about like, it has happened once and it will stop there and it won't come back again. If it is a classic, it will come back. But you should have an eye to understand what is classic and what is fad, what is easily dying fashion and what is going to remain longer. Now, if we are talking about fashion, we are talking about forecasting. It's very important to know what is in trend right now. And what is this word trend is a kind of inclination towards something which is very popular at a time. A trend is what hit or popular at a certain point, and can be emerging, can be building, or can be declining. A trend can be a trend which is emerging right now. It can be a trend which is already there in the market. It can be building trend, or it can be declining trend, or trend which is, which has already hit the market and now it's in the, going phase, like it's declining now. So it's very important to know. Trend usually refers to a certain style in fashion or entertainment. Obviously, it's a kind of a particular style. This rugged jeans we all might have seen. It was very trendy, in 2018 or 19. Then again, what is a difference between a trend and a fashion? How something which is trendy is different from something which is fashionable? So I have three statements here which will, try to differentiate both the things. He always followed the latest trend in fashion. Secondly, he declared that bell-bottom jeans and belly shirts were the trend. Now, this last one will definitely clear your doubt. She never followed anyone's fashion. She was a trendsetter. So, a fashion, a trend, if it is very popular at a time and everybody is accepting it, then it becomes fashion, and fashion will be only those things which are accepted by a lot of people at a time, right? But trend, something which is trendy, might not be accepted by everyone or might be accepted by everyone. So this is how it is different from each other. They both are different from each other. Now, I was talking about fad. Fad is something which is very short-lived. You would see, like I would give an example, this Crocs. These were very in trend at a time. It is a very short-living thing. It was very famous at a time and it went away very easily. So it was not a very long-living fashion. It was a very short-living fashion. And being an industrialist, being a brand owner, you should know which fashion are short-living and which fashion are long-living fashion. These chains which are attached to the, loops and all, so these were the fads. We can't see it. This, when we look back, we feel so embarrassed that we were wearing such kind of, a fashion at that time. You can see all the school-going kids, they all used to wear such kind of, a garment, a very ultra-low waist school uniform. So this was trend and this was fad. This was very short-living. Now, if we talk about classics, so some fashion which are there for long duration, which are never, and they never fade away. They never fade away, and they keep coming back. Like polka dot, if we talk about these, plazos, if we talk about. So these are the classics. Any item or style that gains visibility, that that generates multiple choices, and that are accepted for a long duration. So these are the classics. Like you can see, an example is this white shirt. It is a classic. Your 501 Levi's 501 denim, blue denim is a classic. It will always be there, and there will always be a demand for such kind of garment. Then again, we are talking about visualization, and that visualization is obviously very important if you are talking about forecasting. There are three different patterns for visualization. And first is your fashion curve, then we have pendulum swing, and then we have fashion cycle. These all we are talking about forecasting right now, because you can only forecast if you know what is fad, if you know what is classic, if you know what is fashion cycle, how fashion changes from one point to another point, for how much duration it is accepted, what is the fashion curve, what is the pendulum swing. Without knowing all these things, you won't be able to, forecast anything. So when we talk about fashion curve, it's a kind of curve. When a fashion was accepted, when it was, it was accepted in, a lot of people was accepting it, and when it declined. So this defines your fashion curve. Fashion curve for, classic will be different. Fashion curve for, fad will be different, right? So if you are talking about fashion curve, your horizontal axis, that is your time, and your vertical axis is your consumer adoption. How many consumer has adopted? You can see in the beginning, this blue line, if you can see the curve, in the beginning we have, 2.5%. They are the innovators. They are fashion innovators, like your designers are there, and brand owners are there. They innovate fashion, right? They think of something and then they project it to the market. Then we have the early adopters, like these celebrities are there. Then we have this, very famous faces are there to whom we follow. They are the early adopters, and they consist of the 13.5% of the market. Now, when we see to our, all these celebrities, we see to all these, all the heroines and all, and then we see like, okay, I saw Priyanka Chopra wearing such kind of garment and I want to wear the same thing. So that is what here this early majority comes. If you are a fashion lover, you would follow your all the celebrities and you will start accepting that. So that is your early majority. Then we have late majority. Like some people, they see like, okay, if everybody will wear, then only I will wear. I don't want to be seen as a fashion victim, because they don't have an eye. They can't understand that this is in fashion. They understand it's very late. Then we have at last fashion laggards. Laggards are those who don't want to, they are very conservative minded and they don't want to change their style. They are very comfortable in their style. Like you would see, like I can see my father, he will never change his style. No, he likes pleated pants, he will wear pleated pant only, whatever may the fashion be. So this is what the thing is. They won't change. They are the fashion laggards at the end. Then again you can see a next curve. Here I have given some example also, like, the laggards, they would say, oh, it's very ugly, I'm not going to change it. Then innovators are like, they would say, okay, full plate jeans, oh, pleated jeans, okay, I want to try that. Full leg jeans, okay, it's a wide leg jeans, it's a plazo, I want to try it. Innovators will be at that point. And, early adopters, they will be like, I've seen blogs around and I'm going to look for some this kind. This weekend, they have seen some kind of shoes in the market and they want to buy it this time, which is very rare. They have an eye. They have an eye to see the fashion. They have an eye to see fashion maybe well ahead than the rest of the people. Then early majority, they are in a phase. Okay, I saw. Okay, boxy fit is very famous. Boxy jackets are very famous these days, and I want to wear that. Then late majority, they are still into skinny jeans. Innovators, they are thinking of your plazos, and the late majority, they are thinking about the skinny jeans, and that they comprise of your 34% of the market. And then at the end, we have this laggard, which comprises of your 16% of the market, and they would be like, oh, it's very ugly, I'm not going to change myself, whatever I'm wearing, I'm very fine with that. So this is what, that was your fashion curve. Now moving ahead, we have pendulum swing, right? Like if you would see in 1920s, we had boxy fit garment. In 1930s, we had well-defined waist garment. Okay, so there is always a kind of swing happening in the fashion. There will always be a kind of swing in the fashion in a way that either you will have a very defined waist fashion time, or you will have a very a loose fit fashion time. Because of this COVID, we all are thinking of wearing this very loose garment, right? So there is a kind of shift which has come. Either there will be a very pencil shaped denim, or there will be plazos, right? So there is a kind of swing which is happening all the time in the market, and we need to see where the fashion is going, whether it's going towards the skinny fit, or it's going towards the loose comfortable garment. So this is what actually pendulum swing is. Like you can see in this example, in 20s, she is wearing a very boxy fit garment where the waist is not defined. In 1930s, the waist is very much defined over here. In 50s, you can see, again, waist is defined. In 60s, no waist is defined, right? It's a very boxy thing. Moving ahead, in 60s, you would see very short length garment, okay? And in 70s, full length. So there is a swing from short length to full length, from restricted to flare, from colorful to subdued. So there will always be a swing. You have to keep an eye where the fashion is going, whether it's going towards bold color or it's going towards the pastel color. Now, if we talk about fashion cycle, cycle means when fashion is repeating itself. Like when, when 20s fashion is coming back again. So that will be a kind of fashion cycle. It's going in a cyclic form. Now, if we are talking about fashion forecasting or trend forecasting, trend forecasting is inherently evidence-based and relies on both quantitative and qualitative data. It's never about data. It's never only about data. It's also about the behavior of the people. It's also about what is happening in the society. It's also about the mood of the people. It's not only about the data. It's also about your intuition. If you have gathered all the information from the market, you also need to have the intuition, what your intuition says. And that intuition won't come in one day. You need to be in the market, continuously. If you are there in the market continuously, there are, then you will develop an eye, then you will develop a kind of intuition that how to, do forecasting in future. Now, if we are talking about forecasting, there are 7 different steps to develop a forecasting. Now, identify the basic facts about past trend and forecast. Obviously, you need to identify what has happened in the past and okay. So, obviously, you need to know what has happened in the past and what is happening in the present. Then only you can forecast future. Like I was saying, suppose if you have to, you see, I said fashion is also about behavior. It's also about, a kind of psychology of people. It's also about, fashion is always about psychology, right? Because when we think something, when we are in a particular mood, then we wear a particular kind of garment. So if it is about a person's behavior, how can you judge a person's behavior in one day? You can't judge it in one day. You need to spend time with that person. If you know that person from years, you would say, oh, I know that person will behave in such a manner. I know, I have seen him. I have different evidences of it. Likewise, if you are talking about fashion, you should know about the different evidences of fashion. You should know all the tips and bits of the fashion. So fashion, if you want to do forecasting, you must know the past trend, the current trend, then only you can forecast about the future. Then determine the causes of change in the past. What was the change? Why it happened? As I told you, in 1900, there was invention of card which happened, because of which the entire fashion changed. And it became very, that bulkiness, all of a sudden that bulkiness was lost. So this is how, whatever change is happening in the society, if new technology has come, then obviously there will be some impact, it will have some impact on the fashion. Determine the facts likely to affect trends in the future. Obviously, you need to find the signal. What are the signal? Like suppose if I'm talking, there is, 5G is coming, right? So how 5G is going to impact fashion? 5G means people will want everything very quickly, right? So if you want things very quickly, then you would expect the same thing in fashion also. If you are ordering it now, I want it now delivered at my place. So this is how your psychology will change. Then determine the difference between past forecast and actual forecast, so or actual behavior. You need to see what was forecasted last time and how it changed. Was it accepted 100%? If it was not accepted 100%, how much deviation was there from the past? And why was that deviation? That is also very important to understand. Apply forecasting tools and techniques. Obviously, we have different tools of fashion forecasting. I will discuss it in, in the further slide. Then follow the forecast continually to determine reasons for significant deviation. If you are following forecast from, if you would follow something, if you are following a person, if you know a person from 10 years, you would know how that person is going to behave. Likewise, if you are forecasting, if you are following forecasting from past 10 years, 11th year, you would know what is going to happen, because there is never drastic change in a fashion. There is always 9 degrees change in the fashion. And this 9 degree shift creates a lot of difference in the fashion. Revise the forecast when necessary. Obviously, never ever any forecast is 100% correct. There is always a chance of improvisation. There is always a chance of revision. Anything which will happen in the society will impact the fashion. So you need to revise the fashion. Oh, I think I'm ahead of time, so I won't be able to show you this video right now. I'm going ahead. Like if you're talking about forecasting, we have short-term forecasting, then we have long-term forecasting. Short-term forecasting, which is for 6 months and above. And this is for very short duration. If you want to design for next season, then you go for short-term forecasting. Then we have long-term forecasting, which is 2 years and more. Like suppose if you are a brand owner, okay, if you want to start you have a t-shirt brand and you are thinking of starting a new, adding up something in your brand and you want to start something new, so you would follow long-term forecasting, because long-term forecasting is 2 years ahead of time, or it might be 5 years ahead. Here this term comes mega trend, mega trend, where when fashion is, when we are thinking about fashion for very long duration or very longer, we need forecasting for very longer time, then we go for mega trend. They are there they will be there for 10 to 15 years. Like if you're talking about sustainability, it will obviously be there for more than 10 years right now, because that is the demand of the time. If you're talking about technology, that will be there for next 10 years, So these are your mega trends. When you want to start a new line, obviously when you want to start a new line, your planning will start now, okay, and it will take next 2 years to execute it, right? Because you would think about different aspects of fashion, and then it will take time to build the entire your brand accordingly, because you need to think about your labels also, you need to think about your consumers also, then you need to have that place to where you would like to have that store. So for this we need long-term forecasting. So what are the tools of forecasting? We have fashion scan, we have consumer scan, we have fashion analysis. So first is your fashion scan. Fashion scan means you scan the fashion, you see what is in the fashion, you see what is in the trend, okay, following the latest trend is your fashion scan. Now what is consumer scan? Consumer scan means following, seeing the consumer behavior, seeing what consumers are buying and why are they buying a particular thing, seeing what your competitors are doing. This is your consumer scan. What kind of people they are focusing, and how many footfalls are there in their how many footfalls are there in their shop. So this is your consumer scan, where we scan the behavior of the consumer. Then we have fashion analysis. Fashion analysis is your combination of fashion scan and consumer scan. You scan the fashion, then you scan the consumer behavior, and then you you analyze the data, and then you synthesize it. So this is your fashion analysis. Then again, social and economic trends. It's also important to know affects mass scale purchasing decision, like what people are purchasing, what masses are purchasing right now. What is the mega trend right now? What is the large scale shift which is happening in the industry? Then when we talk about trend analysis, obviously trend analysis is combination of all these things: fashion scan, consumer scan, fashion analysis, social and economic trends, trend analysis. Then it's also very important to do the competitive analysis, what your competitors are doing, what are they doing, what they are designing, are they succeeding, why are they succeeding, what are the strategies which they are following, because this will help you to build your own strategy. There's always chance of improvising in your business, right? So again, moving ahead, then we have discovering the ZGIS. ZGIS is it's also a very important thing. ZGIS means the spirit of the time. What is the spirit of the time? What are the mood which is there on a global basis? Like if you're talking about right now, what is the spirit of the time? We all are working from home, yeah, right? So that is the spirit of the time. This laziness is there, and we want everything at home. So this is the spirit of the time. Now, if we are talking about trend, if we are talking about forecasting, it's also important to know, Nystrom, he has given some framework for observing the ZGIS, for observing the spirit of the time. What are these frameworks? These frameworks are dominating events, dominating ideas, dominating social groups, dominating attitude, and dominating technology. What are the dominating events which are happening in the society right now? Suppose if World Cup is happening, everybody would like to have a World Cup T-shirt, right? आपका जो अगर क्रिकेट का वर्ल्ड कप हो रहा है तो क्रिकेट का आप देखोगे there is a huge demand of cricket T-shirt. So a dominating event will again, it will have some impact on the dominating fashion right now. Then dominating ideas. What is the dominating idea? Suppose if everybody is talking about feminism, then that will be a thing that will be in fashion somewhere. That will impact fashion somehow in present or in future. Dominating social groups. If there is some kind of there is आजकल तो बहुत ज़्यादा ये agenda चल रहा है sustainability का. So there are so many social groups who are coming up. So these dominating social groups are creating changes in the fashion. We all are thinking about sustainability these days. Dominating attitude. Obviously, what is the attitude? Like if you have a very laid-back attitude right now, then you would like, if the society has a very laid-back attitude right now, that means comfortable fashion will come in future. Dominating technology. As I said, if 5G is coming, obviously that is going to impact fashion. Like I would, show you some pictures I have about the technology, how technology impacts fashion. These are some of the things like, dominating events. There are 3 kinds: significant occurrence. Like suppose if war is happening, obviously that is going to impact fashion. If there is, all of a sudden, if we have India and Pakistan war right now, then what will happen? We will be in the shortage of resources. We would like to, save resources for our war people, and then that is going to impact fashion. Then we can't think of wasting anything. We would be in a mood to restrict every resources. So these significant occurrence will definitely impact fashion. So then again, art work. What is there in fashion? What is in trend? What is what is happening in the society right now? Any accidental events which are happening. Suppose like this COVID thing. It is a very accidental thing. It came into existence all of a sudden and it changed the fashion. It changed the spirit of the time. We had never thought that we would work from home, but now we all are working from home. We never thought that we will be talking to each other in this such kind of webinar, that I will be sitting in the Kashmir and I would be taking a webinar where everyone from India would be listening to me. But this is possible right now. So accidental events like this in 1920s, all of a sudden you can see this the makeup was changed. There was a kind of glass embroidery came into existence. Why? Because there was a discovery of King Tutankhamun. His tomb was discovered in 1920s, and that created a kind of shift in the fashion. Now again, dominating ideas. What is the dominating idea of this time? What are people thinking about patriotism? Are they thinking about ideas, any classic thing? So any multicultural thing, any cultural event which is dominating right now, then that is going to impact fashion. As I told, this gender equality, this is going to impact fashion. Earlier there was a clear difference between women's fashion. There was a clear difference between women's fashion and men's fashion, but nowadays that difference is somehow it's dissolving. So this dominating idea is impacting fashion. Dominating social groups, obviously, if what wealthy people are doing, what your celebrities are doing. So these social groups impact fashion in future because we follow them. They are our we follow them. They are our role models. So they are definitely going to impact the fashion. Then what is the dominating attitude right now? What is how people are behaving right now? Whether they want to have individuality in the garment, or they want to have they want to have conformity at the end of the day. Like sometimes it happens that you don't want to go with anyone, you don't want to gel with people, and you want to have your own individuality. So that is your differentiation versus conformity. So what is the dominating attitude? Whether it's about differentiation or it's about conformity. Now, dominating technology, obviously, what new materials are invented in the market, what all new things which are coming in the market, and that is going to impact fashion. Suppose if there is a new invention of a car, somehow a flying car is there, then you would like to dress accordingly, right? If I don't know, you can imagine of different things right now, and every particular thing impacts fashion in future. If new material is invented, obviously that is going to impact fashion. Like if I was talking about 1980s fashion, then we had this British fashion where all these women they used to wear PVC clothes, polyvinyl clothes, and this PVC was recently invented at that time, and that was very new thing. And because of invention of that particular material at that time, people started wearing that because that was very new and they wanted to, they were like, okay, we should try this thing. Why only think about fabric, or why only think about cotton? Why only think about silk? Let's do something new. Let's try something new. We have something new material, launched in the market. Now, forecasting is done. Now, as we had decided that we will talk about how the world will be after COVID. See, one thing is that there is one disease which has come in the market, and how it is impacting everything. Now, this we need to understand. Global warming thing was there earlier also. How global warming has changed our our thinking style. Like earlier, we had never thought that we will be thinking about we will be wearing sunblock or this sunscreen lotion publicly. But nowadays, it's compulsory to wear sunscreen lotion in the market if you are going outside, because of this global warming. So because of this global warming, we can't think of wearing, in this summers, we can't think of wearing anything which is very, a plastic thing or very synthetic thing. We want to wear cotton thing. So one global warming is impacting everything. It's compulsory to have ACs in car right now, right? So this one thing is going to impact each and everything. Because of this COVID, this COVID has come, and COVID is, it's coming, and we all are thinking that, okay, now it's the high time. We should think about the society. We should think about the globe. We should think about the earth now. So this sustainability thing has come. This slow fashion has come. Now, what is slow fashion? How is slow fashion different from fast fashion? Earlier, there was a time when, these producers, these brand owners and these industrialists, they used to produce a lot of garments. As the fashion was changing, whole year they were producing, a lot of bulk was produced, and you would be surprised to know only 50% of those bulk were used, and rest of the 50% was just thrown away. And that was creating a kind of, a pollution in the market. Landfills were filled with the garments, those unused garments.
Sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
But we need to finish up this session very soon. So can you please wind it up in another 2 minutes? I'm very sorry.
Okay. So I scroll down and tell you what all these things are. We would be thinking of more work from home culture. There will be a circular fashion, the circular design process. Mindfulness will be there. There will be more mental illness. There are more chances of mental illness because of this recession which is happening right now. Then we will be thinking about more hygiene, well-being, immunity, and obviously the garment industry, the textile industry are coming up with technical textiles. Because of all these things, we are thinking of spirituality. I won't go into this circular economy. Then again, how fashion will change. As Pradhan Mantri, PM Modi, our honorable PM Modi has said, we need to go vocal for local, right? We all are going to, think more about local artisans. We are thinking more about sustainability. So, we will be going, there will be more mindful buying. Earlier, what was happening, we were very mindless. We were buying anything and, without giving a thought into it. Many a times it used to happen like, I bought something, but at the end, when I come back, I feel like, okay, I'm not liking it, and I never wear it. So these things will not happen because of the recession, because of the, global thing which is happening, the sustainability thing which is happening. Then again, we would like to have, a garment which is very multifunctional, clothes which are very elegant, and then again, upcycling will be there. Obviously, we would like to upcycle whatever clothes we have in our wardrobe. We would like to upcycle it. Instead of throwing it away, we would like to upcycle it. Then obviously there will be, new innovations will be coming in the textile industry, like antiviral thing which is coming nowadays. So there will be an association. There will be, aesthetic thing attached to your technical thing right now. I have one example here. You can see this athleisure bag from Kara, which is a very multifunctional thing which can be worn at your back. You can take it to your office also. You can take it to your gym also. You can use it for your traveling purpose also. So we need to have change in the fashion right now. Likewise, a multifunctional thing. And this green card from American Express, it is made up of ocean waste. So it was a very super hit at that time, and we have other cards also, green cards coming nowadays, which talks about the value. And then again, we have this, new normal mask, and then we can see, a lot of decorative masks are also coming. Then again, if I was talking about sustainability, I was talking about, recycling things. So Evian is a brand who has come up with a very self-carved bottle where they don't have, I would like to show you all, if you all can see this bottle. There is one sticker above it. So they have come up that they don't want to have any sticker at the top of the bottle. They will carve whatever they want to write, or they would carve whatever, they will be casted already in the, their company name will be casted already. So that's very easier to recycle it. Then again, I was talking about spirituality. I was talking about meditation. So this candle brand, they have come up with, 7/7 uses 10 to elevate at home meditation. So they have come up with a new thing that there will be a scent which will elevate your meditation mode. Then I was talking about technology. New invention in technology will impact fashion, and we need to have new invention. Here, Nike has come up with a new thing, Spice Design for Everyday Extreme, where they have a new technology attached to their garment, which will absorb all your sweat and all your heat, which is produced by extensive workout done in the gym or something. So this is what the thing is. And then I would like to end up with, all these forecasting sites. You can note it down. We have WGSN, which is a paid version. Then we have PromoSteel. It is also very paid thing. You have to pay in lakhs for its subscription. Then we have few free sites as well. Future Forecast, Trend Hunter, Business of Fashion. These are some of the things which you all can go through. Now I would like to end this session with a big why. Why we are behaving in such a manner, why we never thought about global warming earlier. We had so many signals, but still we never thought of it. So I would like to end this session with a why in every term. So thank you all. I would like to take any questions if you all have. Then.
Thank you so much, Nayantara ji. It was such an insightful session, and I hope all the participants must have gained something from this session. So just a little info to all the participants, to all the registrants over here. We have also planned a 10 days master class in association with Nayantara ji, and she's from NIFT Srinagar right now. She's currently working there, and we have planned one 10 days master class with her on deep study on fashion design, fashion forecast and research. So the details of it will be forwarded to your mail IDs, the registered mail IDs that we have. You all will get the details of it. And meanwhile, I just want to ask everyone if they have questions and something to ask. So we are open to questions as well, but we have to be very quick as we are running short of time. So if anyone has any question, they can write in the chat box. Thank you so much, Anthony ji. So if anyone has to ask any question, they can write in the chat box. Yes, for sure. For the certificate part, one mail is forwarded to all your registered mail IDs regarding the assessment. You have to give that assessment, and then e-certificate will be forwarded to your mail ID 1 day later. So the assessment link is already forwarded to your mail IDs. You can give that assessment and can access the e-certificate 1 day later. Okay, I hope I'm clear to everyone. The details of the 10 days masterclass will also be forwarded tomorrow to your mail IDs. You can have a quick view on that and can revert to us whenever you want. And if you still have any queries regarding this session, you can mail us that query, that question to us. Nayantara ji will be happy to answer all of them.
Okay,
and the last date to register for that 10 days masterclass is 4th August. The last date to register for 10 days masterclass is 4th August. The feedback link will also be forwarded to you on your registered mail ID. So I request everyone to please fill that feedback form too, because it is very important to us to know your feedback, your reviews.
There are 2 links.
So two links will be forwarded to you. One is assessment link and one is feedback link.
It's compulsory.
And it is compulsory for everyone to fill those 2 links. So I think we should wind up the session. Thank you so much, Nayantara ji. And thank you so much all the participants for your active participation into this.
Thank you everyone for bearing me for this 45 minutes and 1 hour session. And I hope I have given some insight to your knowledge. And thank you all.